In the Pits is partnered with 71 Designs, owned and operated by veteran Wade Martin, and partnered with fellow Texas brand Compete. 71 Designs can take your ideas for soft goods, merchandise, and casual wear and make them a reality. Message 71 Designs on Facebook or Instagram to get started today. In the Pits is partnered with Podrunners Union. Podrunners Union breaking news. Super limited Union Tech tees and, for the first time, Fiesta medals are available online at podrunnersunion.org. Use offer code PITS for 10% off of your order. Stealing pods for undeserving teams. It's a living. In the Pits is partnered with Mariachi Águilas de Oro. Based in Austin and servicing the surrounding areas, these Golden Eagles will bring life to any event you are having, from birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, corporate events, or even a simple performance to enjoy. Guillermo Padilla, one of their trumpet players, is also a member of the Texas paintball scene. Visit them on Facebook and Instagram to check out some of their past performances, or give them a call to book them for your event today. In the Pits is partnered with Skull Monkeys Paintball. Equip, engage, excel. In the Pits is partnered with XTPL Events. The Extreme Tournament Paintball League is a series put on by the Lukow family of Paintball Fit fame that gives the opportunity for players to learn and grow together as a team. 3-man, Challengers and Champions X-Ball, Draft Mech X-Ball, and even Youth 3v3. There's something for everyone at XTPL. Not to mention prize tosses, raffles, and the infamous paintball munching contest. Events happen throughout the year, and the prizes never disappoint. Sign up for an XTPL event today on PB Leagues. In the Pits is partnered with Hydra. Designed by players, for players, you can outfit yourself in Hydra gear from head to toe. Have confidence that when you make a purchase from Hydra, you are purchasing a well-tested and well-thought-out product, trusted by several top teams, including first-place semi-pro team, PaintballFit.com. I personally recommend their Hydra Black knee pads. Purchases over $100 receive free shipping. Head to hydra.fit to browse their selection and discover the Hydra mentality. Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to episode 137 of In the Pits Paintball Podcast. This podcast is focused on everything that has to do with the paintball scene here in Texas, from professional players and teams to new divisional programs, local tournament series, field owners, and Texas-based brands, even photographers and videographers. Every week, we'll have a short and sweet episode with a new topic and new special guest. I'm Christian Dallas Smith. I'm a player for the Texas Titans. In this episode, we're going to preview the upcoming USXBL JT Open and give our predictions for the event. This evening, I am joined by Robert Jordan of After the Buzzer podcast. He goes live every Tuesday morning without fail. Another great media member that keeps his eye on the Texas scene and also is going to be manning the commentator booth yet again for the upcoming USXBL event. Robert, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
Well, I'm feeling fantastic. This is, the first show here on Major League Paintball. Thank you again to Tom Cole, Darren Sessner, Ryan Gray, and everybody involved with Major League Paintball. It is an absolute honor to be here and to get to feature what's going on in the great state of Texas. So, Robert, what do you say? We want to get started?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, for me, this is the season start right here. As you know, Texas is starting to blow up even more. I mean, we're already called the Mecca of paintball, and now it's it's our season. It's time, and I'm excited. So I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Yeah, it should be a good one. So, this first topic brought to us by the XTPL events. So, let's get a brief recap on how the 2024 season ended for USXBL. So, looking at the season rankings, the Beefy Boys over starting with the Elite Division, which for those who are unfamiliar with how the divisions work in USXBL, the Elite Division is D3 plus. So it extends the points classification to where you can have up to 1,200 points and still be considered D3. Anything over 1,200, you're D2, D1, whatever the case may be. So it's somewhere of a mix between D3 and D2. So looking at the Elite Division, we finished the season with the Beefy Boys going back to back with the Violence Open at X Factor Paintball Park, and then winning the series championship and taking the season away from Jackpot, who had started off really strong, winning the first two events.
Yeah, last year it was basically down to a 2-horse race. First of the year, Jackpot came out guns a-blazing, pardon the pun, but really just dominated the first two events. Beefy had a 4th place finish in both events, and they were trying to find their footing, but they stayed close enough in the points. Then we go to San Antonio, Jackpot stumbles, and for whatever reason, they just had a bad event. Layout, team not feeling it, we don't know. They're pretty private, but they had a bad event, and Beefy capitalized. It let Grit come up and take second. It let Beefy take first. So it came down to the race to the championships. And again, Jackpot had a pretty good event at the championships, but in the semis, it was Jackpot and Beefy. And I mean, that one match right there was for $15,000, whether, Beefy wins the event or not. I mean, that was the one that was going to take the series, and it was a banger. And so by the end of it, Beefy winds up 18 grand richer for the season. And it just goes to show you can never take your foot off the gas.
Absolutely. And I think for Jackpot and for anybody who's looking at the series standings as a whole, it really shows you that you cannot have an event that just goes abysmally for you. Even though Jackpot podiumed in 3 of their 4 events, they got a first, and a third at the double points event. That last place that they took at the Violence Open really just knocked them out of contention for the series. So as far as the series standings go, you really need to be consistent. Beefy taking a 4th place at the first 2 events. They're not podiums, but they're not last places either. So it was just enough to keep them in the series standings and allowed them to finish at the top.
And with the last event being double points, it just makes that gap. If you're not on the money in the last one, it can make that gap even harder to overcome. So,
absolutely. I
mean, it makes exciting paintball for people outside the nets to watch. Like as someone up in the booth, I have the best seat in the house, as you well know. You've been up there, and it's great. But when you have friends that play on these teams, I know a lot of these guys on Jackpot, and your heart kind of breaks a little bit for them, because the work they put in, the coaching and the grind that they put in, the practice they put in. But I will give Jackpot credit. They said, you know what, we're not going to let us hold us down, and we're going to step to the semi-pro level, and we're still going to continue to be Jackpot. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, for sure. So moving on to Division 4, this is where the race got really tight last year between the top 2 teams. PB Gateway finishing in first place for the series, just barely over Cap City Charge, who came out swinging in the series championship. Both of those teams moving up to the Elite Division for this event. PB Gateway, for those old heads out there, might know the name Gerald Garcia. Playing with PB Gateway for the entirety of last season. This year, moving to I believe he's on Evil now, if I'm not mistaken. Cap City Charge, formerly known as Austin Hypnotic, most of those players anyway. had a history of doing, making quarterfinals, but not quite figuring it all out until the series championship. For the last 2 or 3 years in a row, they've had that history of coming out strong for the season finale. So those two moving up to the elite division, as well as elite out of Lubbock, a consistent team full of players that have been playing a long time. You've got the Outlaw Anodizing Sharks from Houston, also making the move up. So those 4 teams, each of them having multiple podiums throughout the season, are looking to make the jump to D3 this year.
Yeah, and with Cap City, like you said, they struggle to, kind of get over that last little hump, and it's mostly self-inflicted wounds, where they just, at the end of the day, they're trying to force things, they get mad, a call don't go their way, whatever. It's just, they're like this close, but now they're stepping into elite. And just like the elite team from Lubbock, Doug Bryant's got a squad up there of shooters, I mean, they grind it out. If you let them stay on the field long enough, they will beat you. You got to get them in and get them off early, because if you don't, I mean, they're out there. And then Outlaw AP Sharks, it's just is which group of guys are going to show up. They are so hit and miss. I mean, they're number one. I mean, they're coming out and you look at them and they're like, God, these guys are great. And then the next event they'll come out and they'll be like upper middle of the pack and they're like, what's going on? So I don't know if they're field dependent or if it's just, coaching, but they're all going to get a chance to shine this year because they're all stepping in. And with groups like Grit and the Titans and, Beefy Boys and the Donut Shop Mafia and Houston Zone, their road is definitely not going to be easy.
Absolutely. So just to briefly touch on Division 5, PB Gateway V2 ended up taking the series in a very close race up against Gunners D5, who we just saw the Gunners win Tampa in D4 X-Ball. So they are coming in red hot to start the year. And I'm sure, at least down in San Antonio, I know that all of the teams down there didn't really take off for the offseason. They used it as a couple of months to grind and get ready for this season opener. So I don't know how it looked up there in Dallas, but I know the Gunners are going to come in playing their best.
Up in North Texas, some of the Division 5 teams did take that, Christmas break, that early January break off. The upper teams and the elite and even some of the higher ranked D4 teams definitely didn't. I mean, they actually doubled down. So I was really surprised not to see the Gunners finish last year in number 1. Again, self-inflicted wounds. But I think Jesse Stevens has got them trucking off in the right direction now where they're just not doing – I mean, Tampa, they looked amazing. So I'm looking forward to seeing how good they do this year because I think that's the team to watch in that division.
Definitely. So yeah, that was our finish for Division 5. So now let's move on to our next topic, which is brought to us by QBRofficial.com. So looking at 2025, we do have an addition on the schedule as far as the location. So last year, I believe there were 3 out of the 4 events were at Paintball Fit, with Paintball Fit being one of the few fields in Texas with 3 airball fields, as well as the parking necessary to be able to handle an event this size. X Factor did build their 3rd field towards the later half of the year. They got the Violence Open. This year, though, we are heading over to Giant Party Sports for the 2nd event of the year.
Yeah, that came about when Giant came up, the park came up with some new ownership. Billy Saransky, Mark Johnson, they're in partnerships with it. They reached out to the USXBL and said, hey, look, we want the premier X-Ball league in Texas or in this region to be here. What do we got to do? And, the league said, hey, we need you to fix some fields. We need you to do this and this. And we need to go ahead and just kind of, if you've been around Texas long enough, you know that the politics of paintball sometimes gets in the way. And so everybody had to make nice. And, luckily, everybody played nice and everybody said, yeah, this is cool with us. We're all going to pull in the same direction for players. So it allowed the USXBL to go to Giant, and we're going to go over there and we're going to turn it out, and we're looking for a really good event. I mean, I was just recently over there for the format tryouts where they tried for the NXL, and they put a lot of work into that place, and I'm really impressed.
Yeah. I know Giant Party Sports, with Mark Johnson at the helm, with Billy Saransky, they've undergone a lot of changes. They did host the format testing, as you said. They're a big park with the capacity to hold a lot of teams there. So I think the addition of that, even though it is even further away than Fit is for the South teams, but it's going to be a good change. Just getting more fields in there. And yeah, so looking at the schedule here, let me pull it up here. And for everybody joining us, first, welcome. Thank you for tuning into this first show of mine here on Major League Paintball. I am learning a new a new program to do this, so bear with me here. So let me click here on the transition. So here's our schedule for this season. So we're opening at Paintball Fit this weekend with the JT Open. As we said, event 2 is going to be at Giant Party Sports. Event 3, once again, going back to X Factor, and then the championships mid-October, heading back to Paintball Fit, which I believe I heard that Fit is going to be in the process sometime this year of adding a 4th field. Is that correct?
That is the rumor. Watching one of the Fit Lives, Sarah Lukow kind of dropped it in an offhanded comment that she said, we're going to be building a 4th field. I talked to them about it. They're not being really forthcoming about when or where, but it's in the works. I mean, Giant has 4 fields. Still got a little work to do on one of them, but they got 4 fields. And as this league has grown, as you saw, the schedule came out today for the JT Open, and there's some people like, man, Saturday's going to be a long grind. Well, you can either add a 3rd day, which is Friday, and a lot of people have to take off work, or you just have to kind of suck it up. But if we can get a 4th field, then again, maybe we can eliminate some of the scheduling problems and issues so everybody's not out there all day. So that's the hope. So, yes, Fit is going to eventually add a 4th field. I can't tell you the date because I don't know, but it's coming.
For sure. Another thing I want to bring up as far as the what to expect for this season, here's the prize package that we're looking at per event and for the series. So the starting with Division 5, you've got $3,000 for first place, $2,000 for second place, and $1,000 for third place. I know with Mike Hinman coming in and taking over the USXBL about a year and a half ago, this was not the case. And now there's some serious cash on the line for each of these divisions. I mean, even $1,000 for third place is a match that, some teams, they think, oh, we lost in the semifinals. I don't want to go play for third. All I want to do is win. But this is a significant amount of money to still be competing for.
Yeah. And Mike and Tracy both have worked tirelessly to get sponsors and big companies to put more and more money into this to try to grow the package because, money's where it's at. And now they have GI has a paint contingency, if you use their hoppers for the USXBL. Max has a paint contingency if you're a Max team. So, I mean, there's ways that you can even alleviate your cost off the back end. All you got to do is win, and that's the long and the short of it. But you start talking about $12,000, for a series prize, plus another $24,000 if you sweep the series. And there's some teams out here that theoretically could sweep Elite, the Titans being one of them. So, you look at 24 and then you add 12 on top of it, you $36,000 to play paintball and be a non-pro. That's a pretty good blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see in the chat, Leo says that Ruthless also has a winning contingency. I believe Maxed is going to do their winning contingency again this year for their teams. So you've got a lot of companies in here, JT with the loaders, Max with the jerseys, Ruthless with their soft goods package as well. They're adding more and more incentives to be a very good team and to do your homework going into this one.
Yeah, now it's you really want to make sure that you do the best you can to get the sponsors that you need, because if you really plan on winning, it's not like, hey, I like this brand and it's cool and all, but that brand over there is just as good, but they'll give me 20 cases of paint if I win. That's I would love to have 20 cases of paint every tournament.
Absolutely. All right. So yeah, moving ahead. Let's talk about the brackets. So let's start with here. Let me refresh this just to make sure nothing's changed. We're going to share this instead. So we're going to start with Division 5 X-Ball. And this one is brought to us by the San Antonio 3v3 series, which is put on by one of the show's sponsors, Sasha Zucker. I am the ultimate ref for that series, and we've had a great couple of events so far during this offseason. So if you are a newer team, newer player looking to just get that playing experience out there, go sign up for these 3v3 events. I firmly am in the camp of X-Ball is not where you want to play your first event.
No, and I've heard nothing but great things about you and Sasha, about the way it's run. Everybody leaves smiling. I've not heard not even a whisper of bad out of it. I think it's just wonderful. I think it's a great way to learn.
100%. All right, so looking at Division 5 X-Ball, there's 20 teams. 8 teams advance, top 2 per bracket. That means there are no wild cards being taken, which, yeah, you better come correct. Every game matters, because even dropping one could send you home if you get in one of those dreaded 3-way tie scenarios, which always seems to come up in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and that was a big discussion at the end of last year where, there's teams that go 3-1 and don't make it in, but a team that goes 2-2 in another bracket does. We still haven't figured out how to get around that because, again, the PBLI and the bracketing system and the way they do it. So, again, the cure for everything is just win. Like you said, come correct, be ready to play, and never take your foot off the gas. Because if you do, one of these other teams is going to come in the back door and take away your chance to make money.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know in Division 5, there's so many new teams and players coming in, so it's really difficult for us to get accurate predictions. But there are some programs in here that are the usual faces around the league that you tend to bring in the new players and get them prepared pretty well. So I do want to highlight those. So starting with bracket A, we've got Shut Up They're Trying, Austin FSU D5, Corrupt Crew New Mexico, PB Gateway V3, and Sinister Paintball. So Robert, looking at obviously the first 2 names, Shut Up They're Trying and Austin FSU D5, long time program names here in Texas. They've been around for, I know, Shut Up We're Trying has been around since at least, I want to say 2017. And Austin FSU significantly longer than that.
Yeah, you can't get away from in this bracket. I mean, everybody has a puncher's chance, and again, like you said, with D5, we don't know a lot of these guys. A lot of new people come in. Somebody could do something crazy, and paintballs always bounce funny. But you cannot get away from Shut Up and Austin FSU D5. Those programs are prepared. They grind every weekend. I know Mr. Franz has got his guys going. I know, Jerry's got his guys practicing. So if I was going to pick, and it would be just because of the history of their programs, that's my 2 picks. I think they're going to take 1 and 2.
I don't want to sleep on PB Gateway V3. Their program had a very successful year last year. They took the Division 4 and I believe they took the Division 5 series as well last year. So as a program, like, that is a team that you need to watch out for.
Oh, absolutely. They did. Now there's rumors up here, and I won't get into a whole lot of it because it's not my place to say, but there was a little upheaval and people leaving, and they switched practice fields and yada, the turmoil that happens around paintball, right? So how well they will rally and have people to train the new people coming in is an unknown for me. Not, like I said, they got a puncher's chance, and again, you wouldn't want to sleep on them. I'm going to take every team, even the team that's in the last place, in the rankings, or the power structure, however you want to say it. And I'm going to try to treat them like I'm playing the best team in the league, because if you don't, you're going to wind up losing.
Yeah, absolutely. So looks like the Corrupt crew, just to give them a quick shout out, looks like they're coming in from Carlsbad, New Mexico. So I want to highlight where everybody's coming from. PB Gateway V3, as you said, coming in from DF, at least on PB Leagues, it lists their home field as DFW Adventure Park. So I don't know if that's changed since then, but yeah. And then Sinister Paintball coming in from Cyprus. So it'll be interesting to see everybody come together for that first one. So moving on to the second bracket, bracket B, you've got Houston Zone D5, Aggression, Austin Notorious FSU, Marshmallow Militia, and the Donut Shop Mafia D5. Again, there's a couple of programs in here. You've got another Austin Notorious line. You've got the Donut Shop Mafia, and you've got Houston Zone, all well-known programs with very good history for their D5 lines.
Yeah, again, you come in here and you're like, some of these guys are not that really familiar with Aggression, the Marshmallow Militia, even though I know vaguely of them. But Donut Shop Mafia, I know how their upper team plays. I'm not really familiar with their D5 guys, but Houston Zone D5, Austin Notorious FSU. Again, those are the programs that just historically do well at the lower divisions. I mean, Austin Notorious FSU has had a fresh D5 line for as long as I can remember, and they're always just right there in the mix. I mean, no matter who's on their team, it's just they do well.
Yeah, for sure. One matchup that I want to highlight in this bracket is the Marshmallow Militia taking on TDSM D5. Both teams hailing from El Paso, Texas, so we could see a bit of a grudge match there.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about paintball. Back in the day when we traveled all over the country, we'd go all the way to California or go to Skyball in Toronto, and you wind up playing the team you practice all the time. It's funny how that works out. It's not a conspiracy. It's just, so they're going to come all the way from El Paso and look at the bracket they get lumped into, right?
Yep. Same thing happened at NXL with Jackpot and Texas Demolition.
Yeah. I mean, so it's just one of those things. When you have such a big state and so many areas that are so thick and rich with history, you're going to wind up playing your boys. So
for sure. And then Aggression coming in for Amarillo. We'll see how they handle coming in to against these teams, against these more established programs. So moving on to bracket C, we've got Texas Rampage, Austin Oni Gold, Elite Dynasty D5, Integrity D5, and Team Blank. So Austin Oni, I believe this is their third year as an organization. They've got multiple lines. Last year, they started bringing in some additional members to help them, including Mikey Tokyo to help coach them. And I believe in the offseason, they also had they flew in a player from Sacramento DMG semi-pro team to give them a clinic. So they're taking this offseason pretty seriously.
Yeah, Austin Oni, when they brought in Mikey, or Tokyo, as everybody knows, Tokyo's son plays for them. And Mikey's bringing him along the right way, slowly, correctly. He's not just trying to make the team about his son, but you can see that guy's going to be somebody. If he decides to stick with paintball, he's going to do. And Mikey is a really great coach. They're going to do big things. So I really look for them to do a lot. And on a side note, I just really love the fact that we have people coming in from the Panhandle, from El Paso, instead of just the normal, hey, it's North Texas around Fit, or it's down in South Texas around, X Factor, and a few other places. I like to see that there's people coming from some of these smaller parts of Texas and, putting herself on the line to go out here and play some paintball. It's really great.
For sure. So in this bracket, Integrity D5 is hailing from Lafayette, Louisiana. So it's starting to attract a couple of teams from out of state to come compete in Texas. All I can say is you welcome, but you're going to get welcomed out there for sure.
Yeah, it's me and Mike have had a discussion several times because, he's a California guy and, he thinks California ball's up here and Texas paintball's like right here. I'm a Texas guy and I'm the exact opposite. I think Texans are polite. They're friendly. They're very welcoming until you step across that line and you do something that's a little bit, you can't pull their punk card. Let's just put it that way. I mean, you got to be a little tough,
For sure. Yeah. So looking at, let's see, Austin Oni, obviously from Austin, Texas Rampage from Waxahachie Healing out of Paintball Fit, Elite Dynasty coming to us from Houston, and then Team Blank also coming to us out of Paintball Fit. So again, some teams that may have seen each other throughout practice. We'll see how they match up together. So in the final bracket D, we've got the Von Army Soldiers, Texas Easy Company, Elite Factory, Gunners 187, and the Meanies 71. I know that the Meanies, I believe they had multiple lines in the San Antonio 3v3 series during this offseason. They podiumed across a couple of the divisions. So look for this team to take that experience into X-Ball for the first time.
Yeah, the Meanies, Wade came out of the scenario world and decided he wanted to play X-Ball and stuff like that. And when he came in, he just started scooping up all these peripheral players that nobody else had. And now he's got the Houston Meanies, the Dallas Meanies. He's got like 4 or 5 lines. He's everywhere in all things. But surprisingly, they've gotten really good really fast. I mean, I think his D4 line is going to be presentable this year. I mean, they're making a little bit better than you would have thought coming out of the scenario world. A lot of them are kids. So, he's doing a big thing, and I really like him a lot as far as seeing what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing to point out on the Meanie 71, like they have, I know that we've seen in this sport since the creation of the WNXL, more and more women are coming in. This line has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 8 players are women, which I feel like in years past would be almost unheard of to have 5 women in the entire tournament period, let alone on one line. So I think it is a very cool thing that we're starting to see here in Texas.
And Wade is really good about getting people to help him. So he brings in all these coaches. He's very welcoming. All these women feel comfortable learning there. It's not like, hey, if you don't win, I'm going to yell at you. So the only thing he asks is just show up and put in your best effort. If you do that, you'll have a place to play forever. So props to them. I'm looking forward to hopefully get to call some of their games when they make it to the main field.
For sure. So looking at the rest of the teams, you got Elite Factory out of Lubbock, their lower line. You've, of course, got Doug Bryant. You've got Chris Vandervald helping them. The Gunners 187 out of San Antonio. They are coached by, they do have Jesse Stevens listed on their staff. So look for them to be very well coached heading into this event. You've got Texas Easy Company coming out of Austin. I don't know too much about them. It says their home field is actually Texas Paintball in Jonestown. And then you've got the Von Army Soldiers here out of San Antonio. They played their first event last year as a team. They've been working hard this offseason. We'll see how they do heading in.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Von Army has changed from last year. I saw a little bit of them. They got little flashes of brilliance, but again, it is D5, and that is not a knock on anybody in D5 because you got to learn. I've been playing so long, I've already made the full circle. I'm back down to D5 myself. But it's really good to watch the D5 guys to see who's going to be around the sport long enough to transition into D4 and then basically triage again and see who's going to make it into elite, and then triage and see, you just like to kind of see if your picks are correct when you watch these guys.
For sure. Yeah. And I'm not going to go into predictions for D5 just because there are so many new faces. I don't think it has too much purpose to give predictions there. Just to, I do want to highlight where everybody's coming from. And as the names start earning their reputation on the field, maybe we start highlighting them more and more as we get throughout the season. But we are going to move on to Division 4. And this one is brought to us by Bemraps and Mariachi Aguilas de Oro. So we'll go through the brackets here. So bracket A, we've got Austin Notorious D4, TKO, Houston Homicide, Corrupt Crew, and Elite Hate Crew. So I do want to highlight the players on these rosters because even though it is D4, some of these players have pretty significant history in the game. So starting with here, let me share this here. So starting with Austin Notorious D4, coached by Marky Franz, you've got I'm not even going to pretend to know how to pronounce that name, but you got Bakniak, you've got Dennis Britton, Gio the Boogeyman Cardell, Alex Carrion, you've got Leslie Cluas and Chris Isaacs, Leslie coming in from Dallas Vibe to play with them, Brandon Rath and Timothy Ray. And then, so for this roster, you've got a WNXL Finals MVP. You've got the Boogeyman. This is a very strong line heading into this one.
Yeah, those two names right there. I mean, if you've been around Texas paintball, the Boogeyman is called that for a reason, and it's not because he dances. And Leslie Clueless, last year we had her mic'd up at San Antonio when she was playing down there. And her IQ was on display. Her paintball IQ was on display. We thought we were going to get a lot of cussing and screaming and stuff, and, like back left, back, and what we got was a commander out there. We got a lot of good video and audio on her just commanding the field. I think she's probably going to be one of the highest paintball IQs on that line. And I know a lot of people will sleep on her because she's a girl, but if you do, you're going to wear it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. So Ghost Paintball, Leslie fresh off of a baby. Here, let me experiment with highlighting the comment. There we go. Learning the new interface. So Leslie fresh off a baby. So she did have her daughter last year, about midway through the season. So she didn't play for Dallas Vibe at all last season. And she did play in Tampa. So she is back. She's got knocked the rust off. She played Tampa 2 weeks ago. And seeing her come to practice at X Factor, she'd come off the field saying, "Man, I feel rusty." And meanwhile, the point, she got a 4-pack instead of a 5-pack. So
I know. God, it's so bad.
Yeah. So watch out for Leslie for sure. So moving ahead to TKO, this is Pate Smith's team. So coming out of Houston, this is not the purple TKO. You've got Chris Ballou, Ryan Croson, Dylan Hayart, Edward Horbelt, Diego Perez, Pate Smith, Ryan Stewart, and David Suggs. So this team came to scrimmage us, getting ready for Tampa. They are, they've got quite a bit of experience playing together over in Houston. So yeah, look for this team to be a threat for sure.
Yeah, they remind me of an old Pittsburgh Pirate team. They don't have the highest roster or all the standout superstars or names you might recognize, but they play great together. They are, hand in glove, one team. So I think that's going to really, over the season, is going to lend itself to be really, really good. I think people are going to go, I don't know many of these guys, or, outside of their local area. And they're going to wind up wearing it because these guys play really well together. They do. I'm impressed by them.
For sure. And this team is also of note, coming off of an quarterfinals appearance in Tampa, finishing 8th place. They ended up, let's see, who did they get knocked out by? They ended up getting knocked out by Filthy in the quarterfinals. So TKO going 2-1-1, winning their Ochos match. So they are a Sunday team at the NXL level. So definitely don't sleep on them. So moving here, let me bust this tab out. So looking at Houston Homicide, we've got coached by Josh Navarro. You've got Tristan Broussard, Timothy Curtis, Christian Cash Cavazos, No Lopez, Adrian Lopez, Andy Nguyen, Jaybird Salas, owner of Splat Zone over in Houston. You've got Cliff Shivers and Kyle Red. So this team with Jaybird on them, they're going to be well backed, well supported. So definitely know that this team is going to be putting in the work.
Yeah, again, it's another one of those teams. You just look at them and you go, all right, where are you superstars? I mean, I know Andy's really good. I've seen him play a lot, Cliff Shivers and stuff. So it's really getting – D4 is very – it's just coming up, getting better and better and better and better. And with Cap City and Elite and all these other teams moving out, it's really going to make it interesting to see who's going to be the dominant force for the season.
Definitely. Moving ahead to the Corrupt Crew out of Carlsbad, New Mexico coming in. You've got Gabriel Abascal, Chance Cosgray, Israel Esparza, Jairo Guerrero, Bryant Mendoza, Cesar Navarro, Richie Olivas, and Isaiah Williams. I don't know too much about this team. I believe this is their first appearance in the USXBL.
I believe it is too. And I don't really – I'm like you. I do not know anything about them. I've looked at their record, and you go, okay, I look at the record, and it kind of gives you a little insight. But like I said on my show, are you field dependent? Are you a team full of shooters? Are you full of runners? Are you a mix? Since you haven't seen them, you don't know. So, but I am interested, and I'm excited to watch them.
Definitely. Mr. G, I think you're going to see some old head names when we get into the Elite Division names, so just stay tuned.
Oh, Fan and Mox Nixon. Oh, yeah, God, that's a throwback. Thank you.
All right, so lastly in this bracket, we've got Elite Hate Crew out of Lubbock. This is Adrian Berry, Austin Bush, Riley Coffey, Mitchell Gallagher, Ethan Lawson, and Hunter Lewis. So they hail out of Lubbock. I don't believe they are affiliated with the Elite team, Doug Bryant's team. I believe this is an entirely different organization. They're running a light line. Yeah, we'll see how they do.
Yeah, they're another one of those. Hey, we don't have our own team. Let's get together. We'll pick a cool name, and they may surprise us. But again, I don't know anything other than the fact that they're out of Lubbock. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So I'm looking at the time here. So it is, I do want to speed this up just a little bit. We have a lot of teams to go through. We're going to go through very quickly. So bracket B, we've got Cold Blooded, Countdown City 210, Austin Oni, Contra, and GNL Crew. I think this is going to be an opportunity for some of these teams to make their first playoffs. I think this bracket is definitely wide open.
Yeah, it is wide open, but cold-blooded. Perry Chance has this team ready to go. I'm hoping they finally get over that hump. They make Sunday, but they are without David Cuervo, which is their snake guy. So I don't know. I'm just hoping that they get a chance because I played with cold-blooded a couple tournaments, and he's right there, but he's a player or two short. He's got a bunch of new guys. Some of these guys play for Texas A&M, so we'll see.
All right. So on this line, you got Coach Jason Carter. You've got Jackson Barfknecht, Zach Beavers, Maxwell Carter, Perry Chance, Clemente Crispin, Marco Garza, Isaiah and Isaac Leja, Stefano Migliaccio, and Rudy Perales. Moving from Bryan, Texas, where College Station is.
They play out at Zoomies.
Go ahead.
They play out at Zoomies. That's their home field.
All right. So up next, we've got Countdown City 210 from San Antonio, X Factor. You've got 9 players on this line. You've got Jorge Garcia, Rylan Homier, Paul Homier, Isaiah Ibarra, Jason Leslie, Alexander Matuk, Ramiro and Cesar Ortiz, and Cesar Zamora. This is a team. They've been together under a couple of different names throughout the years. Countdown, the Rapids, the Reapers. They've kind of gone through different names, but the Countdown name has definitely been their longest iteration. I know they've struggled a little bit in D5. I think this bracket, though, could be an opportunity for them.
I agree. I think that, again, that's one of those teams that one time they'll show up in D5 and play really well. And, you see all the different, iterations of Countdown City. And then the next one, they're kind of middle of the pack. But I think with this bracket being wide open, I think they're going to show up a little bit. Yeah.
For sure. Moving on to Austin Oni. This is their main team out of Outlaw and Pflugerville. This is one Mikey's coaching. So you've got Talon Bourne, Trey Duran, Wyatt Zerlaben, Jason Hawkins, Mark Hernandez, Tanner Hunt, Corey Kirkland, Ryan Lyle, Caleb Marrero, and Logan Yene. I'm not seeing Mikey's son on that line. But anyways, this team has been working hard in the offseason. They flew in that semi-pro player from Sacramento DMG, Mr. Hatch from the Sidelines podcast. Go check him out. Shout out to you, Hatch. Deep line. They've been working hard, but again, they haven't necessarily. They had some decent finishes last year. We'll see if they can improve upon them this year.
I think as long as Tokyo's there and making improvements, speaking to him this past weekend, he told me they were ready. He said they're ready. He said they spent the winter, grinding. So I'll take him at his word. So we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So up next, we've got Contra coming in from Memphis, Tennessee. Long way in. Coach Kenneth Johnson. You've got Justin Brister, Connor Brister, Michael Colabufo, Hayden Ferrugia, Grayson Knight, Jason Larson, Jorge Pisano, and David Williamson. So coming all the way in from Memphis, Tennessee. We'll see how they do.
Yeah, welcome to Texas, boys. I don't mean to rain on your parade, but I just don't know if you're ready for this. I mean, they probably, come out of that Tennessee series up there, the MVPS or whatever it is. I can't remember. Let's see where
MSXL looks like is what they compete in. A lot of middle of the packs. They did have a first place finish in D5 X Ball a couple of years back. We'll see how they do this year.
Yeah.
Finally, let's go to the GNL crew out of San Antonio, Texas. I believe it's another. Yeah. So this is GNL, another Gunners line. So you've got Alex Amos, Jamari Faison, Rylan Fontana, Kendrick Lofton, Jacob Parks, Ashton Roller, and Justin Vasquez. So this is another Gunners affiliated team. They've got Jesse Stevens on the staff. I know at the very least, Jamari, I believe Alex Amos as well, was on the line that won Tampa. This is going to be a strong team.
Both of those, Jamari and Alex, are both really good players. And again, I would love to have Jesse as a coach, but I would also hate to have Jesse as a coach if I don't do what he says. You know what I mean? So right. I think they're going to do really well. And I think in this particular bracket, I think they're going to shine probably brighter than most.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on to bracket C. And one thing I do want to point out is there are a lot of 6-team brackets in this division. Lot. There are 4 of them, and they're only taking 2 wild cards. So if you're in one of these 4 6-team brackets, every game is going to matter. Because if you're in a 3-way tie at 3-1, guess what? If there are a bunch of other 3-way ties in the other brackets, you are in danger of going home.
Yeah, and that's crazy to think about, really, because we're so used to watching the NXL and the pros and people like 2-2 with a good margin, you're pretty much going to move on. And then you get over here and go 3-1, and see you later, guys. I'm gone.
Yep. So looking at these 6 teams in bracket C, you've got Greed, Countdown City, Hydra Kids, Cold Blooded Pandas, Havoc, and the Meanies. So first, looking at Greed, a longtime staple in Texas. You've got 11 players who are running a super deep line. You've got Rich Addicts, Scotty Allen, Jason Bonner, Nathan DeMott, Jeffrey Green, Christopher Rivas, Anthony Rodriguez, John Samuel, Wesley Smith, Lucas Weeks, and Logan Williams with our boy Chris Odom on staff. This is a rebuild, if I am understanding this correctly. A lot of these faces are new to this or new to this team, so we're going to see how they come out in this first one.
Yeah, I got to be careful what I say here. There's a little history with me and this team, but this is their second year into the rebuild, and it's a more powerful year for them to rebuild. Rich, Scotty, and most of these guys on this team I'm really cool with and good with, and they're going to do well. Logan Williams, Christopher Rivas, going to be playing their snake. John Samuels, very good player. And Jason Bonner, let me tell you something. Like him or not, he's an acquired taste, but that man knows how to play the middle of the field. And I can't take nothing away from him. He's been playing this game for 20 plus years and hung around through the lean times. I think they're going to do well in this bracket, and I think they're going to move on to Sunday. I'll just go ahead and say it right now. I think they'll move on.
All right, fair enough. Moving on to Countdown City's main line. You've got Cody Cawley, Andre Flores, Jonathan Gager, Benjamin Herrera, Jacob Hurst, Michael Leon Guerrero, Alexander McDougall, Joshua Oliva, and Jimmy Roman. Countdown, again, they've got a couple of lines. This looks like to be their main line. I know they've been working hard for a while. We'll see how they do on this one.
And again, like with the other Countdown City, crew, it's hit or miss. It's just hit or miss. And again, is it field dependent? Is it, how does your people feel that day? Does everybody show up in the right mind frame? I don't know. But this is in this bracket, it's going to be a struggle for them. They can win, but will they?
Sure. All right. Moving on to the Cold-Blooded Pandas, coming also from College Station. You've got Robert Allen, Rolando Garza, Laren Montez, Joshua Nelson, Oliver Norris, Benito Ortiz, Jordan Schultz, and Ishmael Zacharias. So team from Bryan, Texas. We'll see how the Pandas line does for Cold-Blooded. Cold-Blooded had a decent showing program-wide last year. I know they were nominated for Program of the Year for the In the Pits Awards, but with going up against some of these other lines, especially Havoc being the big one in their bracket, and Greed, I think this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, this is going to be a struggle for them. And it's, not to, again, these are all opinions and not to take away from anything, because anybody can win, but this is going to be a struggle for them. They drew a bad bracket, maybe in another bracket, but not in this one.
For sure. Moving on to Havoc, I think this is the team to watch in this bracket. You've got Jared Sherman as their coach. You've got so this team, for those that have been following the Texas scene, a lot of them are former Austin Notorious D4. Moving on to this team, I think one or two players, maybe from Austin Oni as well, but some very solid players. So again, coached by Jared Sherman. You've got Donald Bynum, Caleb Close. So this is where Tokyo Sun's playing. Ryan Cox, Kellen Jones, Cody Kipp, Tanner Pagel, Travis Patton, Benjamin Rogers, and Anthony Wisecup. You've got a former In the Pits D5 Player of the Year on this team. This is a very solid line. A couple of these players played with Maxed Factory in D3 in Tampa, doing pretty well. I believe they made Sunday as well. So this is the team to watch out for.
Yeah, this is the team that, if you're not familiar with everybody in Texas, if you just kind of glance at the roster and go, oh, it's a new team, whatever, this is the team that's going to kick you in the teeth and surprise you. So I look for them to definitely be in contention to go to Sunday, and will they go as one of the top two, or will they go as a wild card? I think they're going to make it, though.
For sure. All right, up next, we've got the Meanies. From Fate, Texas, you've got Leonardo Alvarez, Colby Klaus, Grant Harris, Carson Martin, Wade Martin, Mark Mercer, Tristan Mundy, Eric Nieto, and Andrew Woodyard. So this is Wade's main team here. The Meanies have been playing a lot this offseason. They've played a couple of 3v3s. We'll see how they go into D4 X-Ball. I think just that environment is a whole other beast, and it might take them an event or two to get the feel for the pace of play.
Oh, 100%. And I'm not sure who they're going to have to come in to coach them, because that's going to be a big thing too. Do they know the talent, who plays where better, blah, blah, blah. So I don't think the meanies are going to quite, get to Sunday on this particular one, but it'll be a good time, and they'll have a lot of fun, but it's just going to be a struggle. They're just in a bad bracket. I mean, they're in there with the Hydra kids,
For sure. And especially with how tough the cut is on this one, and being in a 16 bracket. It's going to be a struggle. All right. So speaking of the last team in this bracket is the Hydra Kids. You've got a lot of young talent on this group, and they play a lot of paintball together. You've got Aiden Adkins, Bo Bennett, Braylon DeGrave, Braxton Greer, Kobe Johnson, Hadley Korsman, Caden Korsman, James Martin, and Nicholas Ross. You've got a couple of players on this team that have gotten invited to the Team USA main tryouts. You've got Hadley Korsman, who is a Dallas Vibe pro player, was starting in the finals at World Cup. I believe she also won one of the WNXL breakout player of the year, I believe, at the Summit Awards. So this team, just because there are a whole bunch of kids on this team, man, they play a lot of paintball. I guarantee you they probably play more paintball than you.
Oh, they play, trust me, they do play more paintball than anybody around. And their coach is they recently had a setback with their coach, so they had Rich came over from Vibe, who plays with Greed, and then Colt's going to be there. Colt Lukow is going to be there coaching them. So the support behind the scenes and the paintball IQ that's going to be joysticking these kids all over the field. These kids, if they don't make Sunday, I will be so surprised, because they made every Sunday, won a massive amount of D5 and U tournaments last year. So I think it's going to transition. I think they're just that good.
Definitely. We'll see if the adults in this bracket are going to give them the respect. And if they play them like they were playing another adult and respect the opponents on the other side of the field, then we'll see. But the thing about kids is they're fast, they're small, they're hard to shoot, and they will shoot you a lot. I can make it to your 50.
I can 100% guarantee you from watching them practice all these adult teams, the adults don't give them any respect. They bully them every chance they get. But these kids are small, fast, and they are definitely hard to shoot.
For sure. All right, moving on to bracket D. You've got the Dragoons, Austin Assault, Integrity, Breach, LA Extreme D4, and Texas Sanad. So the first team here, you've got the Dragoons, who midway through last season, they lost a couple of key players there. They lost Nick Gomez. They lost Anthony over to Grit D3. But they have a couple of pickups here. So you got Leo Carbajal, Julian Cruz coming over from Diversity. This team, by the way, they did merge with Diversity in the offseason. So you're going to see a couple of players from both Dragoons and Diversity. You've got Garrett Gamboa, Michael Gomez, Jacob Johnson. You've got Isaiah Carnes and Ruben Maldonado, some Texas Titans D4 players coming into play with the Dragoons. Hayden Mays, Brandon Moreno, and Tanner Schlother. So a lot of players on this team. That's 11 bodies coming in from 3 different teams. You've got some talent for sure, but 11 bodies is a lot of people, especially on a merger. So that's would be my concern going into this one, is how are your pits going to be?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who are you going to play? How much time are they going to play? Are they going to play well together? Who is the alpha male that's going to control the pit and control the flow of the game? That's my question. These guys. I know the Titans that's coming over there, they like to play a certain way. So it's going to be interesting. I wouldn't want the job. I know that.
For sure. I can tell you right now, Ruben is going to be in the snake crawling down. Ruben is going to be a key player to watch out for on this team. Moving ahead to Austin Assault. They won the first event last year in D5. They were a series contender. Watch out for this team. You've got Connor Sanders, who played for Cap City Charge last year, won Finals MVP, was a nominee for D4 Player of the Year, got recently picked up to Shut Up or Trying semi-pro team coaching them. So on the roster, you've got Matthew Bandow, Brandon Dismukes, Zach Hagee coming back in. I believe he was coaching last year, but actually is a player for them now that they bumped up to D4. Got Joel Hoffman, Matthew Odom, Jordan Reese, and Will Snyder. So this team, you're adding some key experience with Zach Hagee coming back in. This team is very solid.
Yeah, and I've lost to Austin Assault before, so they're not really my favorite people. But they are a really good team, and I will say this: I think they're going to do well here. And with Hagee coming back, I think he was coaching last year. I'm not 100% positive, but with him coming back again, when you start pulling in that old, that experience that brings it in with all the new legs, it can't do nothing but help.
For sure. And for y'all in the chat, I can't find the comment right now, but we are going to be making predictions for D4. We are going to be making some picks for each bracket here at the end. Just going to go through and talk about the rest of the rosters real quick, though. Integrity coming in from Lafayette, Louisiana. Got Thomas Adkins as their coach. You got Gage Farmer, Tyler Isles, Roland Johnson, senior and junior. You've got Marcus Johnson, Corey Kyle, Cade Perry, Matthew Regira, Matthew Thibodeau. So you've got a dad and his two sons on this team. Love to see that. Gage Farmer looking pretty young as well. So it looks like a lot of young players on this team. But again, they're not a Texas team. So we'll see how they do.
Yeah, when they come in from out of state and stuff, I mean, I guess I'm going to have to start buying some kind of satellite service so I can watch teams, from like a robot or something, maybe from a satellite, because all these teams coming from out of state I'm not familiar with. I'm really not. So maybe I should start traveling.
Maybe. Or they should start coming here to play in the Mecca.
That's right. You got to come to the Mecca.
All right. So up next, we've got Breach from Brownsville, competing out of Delta in Edinburgh. So you've got Jose Bernal, Carlos Cortina, Luis Diaz, Nathan Garcia, Alejandro Meza, Angel Montalvo, Jesus Montanez, Omar Pena, Jonathan Resendez, and Samuel Riojas. So we got some Valley Ballers coming in. I don't know much about this team. I don't think I've seen any of these players before. We'll see how they do.
Yeah, and again, this is one of those things when your league grows, you're going to start getting these teams that, they played 5-6 years ago. They were all spread all over, 10 different teams at 10 different parks playing 3-man or, 5-man, regulars 5-man. And now all of a sudden they're jumping into X-Ball and you're like, okay, I'm not familiar with these guys, but we'll see how they do, right?
Yep, for sure. All right, last two teams. So up next, we've got LA Extreme D4. So we've got two Louisiana teams in the same bracket. This one from Slidell, LA Extreme, LAX, the home field of the New Orleans Hurricanes. So they're going to have some quality practice going in. So you've got Neil Bourne, Josue Hernandez, Seth Lalou, Carson Pellerin, Conrad Pellerin, Gurjit Sandhu, and Q Stevenson. Q is going to be the player to watch out for on this team 100%. If you've seen him, I believe a couple of these players played for Team 13 in the past. Q you've sometimes seen wearing a coonskin hat. He is fast, man. So watch out for this team. They've definitely got some speed on their side.
And that's a good piece of it. I mean, a lot of the games, especially with certain layouts, a lot of times the game is won on the break. It's how much ground do you take off the break instead of having to fight for it.
Yep, absolutely. So finally, we've got Texas Salmon coming in from Denton, competing out of GFW Adventure Park. You've got a 12-man roster, which is a lot. You've got Ryan Bassett, Pierre Blackman, Javier Chavez, Jake Delpy, Dylan Fine, Tony Hendricks, Chance Johnson, Thep Vannon. Let me say, goodness gracious, help me out, brother. You got Matt Nabby, Christian Noon, Jacob Pokluda, and Christian Warner. Do you know much about this team?
Not too much about the team. I do know a couple of the players, but they're kind of Tony Hendricks. He's a good player, very athletic, very fit, and deceptively fast. You'll see him; he'll look kind of buffed, and you're like, okay, but he's kind of in that Jace Boyd mold. Excuse me, not exactly the same, but still So he's going to be one I would be watching for, to be Tony Hendricks.
All right, for sure. All right. So again, that's a 16 bracket right there. I think the teams, actually we'll save our predictions for when we get back to that. So let me make sure I got the correct tab shared. There we go. Up next, we got two more brackets in D4. We're going to speed through this. We got PB Gateway V2, Houston Zone Kids, Elite Dynasty, BC United, LA Extreme, D4 Black, and Outlaw Anodizing Green. Man, this is a tough bracket. Starting with PB Gateway V2, they were the D5 series winners last year. You've got Robert Abitia, Luke Bedor, Isaac Espinoza coming. I believe he played. He's a former Austin Hypnotic player. I don't know if he was with PB Gateway all last year or not. You've got Josh Garza, Navarro Grant, Jaime Guevara, Bryce Klein, Joshua Napier, Thinwen, John Theodore, Larry Tran, and Carson Walker. So PB Gateway, again, they're coming in hot off of a series championship. We'll see how they do in Division 4.
They're gonna do well. Larry Tran and Thin Nguyen, yeah, they're gonna do well.
Definitely. All right. Up next, you've got Houston Zone Kids, and another team to watch out for with a lot of youth, a lot of talent. Robert Guerrero Jr., Michael Gutierrez, Slade Hamor, Furman Hernandez, Nolan Hua, Avant Knight, Ethan Morrell, and Nicholas Nira, coached by Bull Godfrey and Rob G. So, especially with Rob G having as much experience that he has, back in the day being on, some legendary team names there. I know, he used to play with Archie Montemayor back when he was divisional. So watch out for this team.
Yeah. And again, it's another one of, like you said, another one of those youth teams. They're small, they're fast, they're hard to shoot, and they're kind of mean. So this will be a good one. This will be a good challenge for them.
For sure. Elite Dynasty up next, coming out of Houston. You've got Guadalupe Aleman, Eduardo Conde, Colton Guerra, Roman Kropp, Marcus McClam, Brooks Price, Terrence Williams, Quentin Wilsford, and Cameron Wilson. Don't know too much about Elite Dynasty. I did see them at the 3-man. They had a couple of players there at the San Antonio 3-man. We'll see how they do in X-Ball.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a struggle for Elite Dynasty. They've been all over the place in 3-man, and they have played, I think, one other X-Ball match, and, but you got to learn somewhere, right?
For sure. Yeah. And looking at their team profile, you've got over competing in 2023. They had some success in some 3-mans. They won HCPS. This offseason, they were at the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, the first event in Sasha's 3-man. They got second place there. They didn't do so well at the USXBL championships in D4 last year. But again, picking up this experience in the 3-mans, we'll see how it translates to D4.
Yeah, it's just going to be, like I said, 3-man's one thing. It's a different animal. Translating into X, especially D4, going to be a little bit of a struggle, but I think they're going to present themselves well, and it'll be a fun game to watch.
Definitely. Up next, we got BC United hailing out of Pflugerville. Got Julian Banda, Michael Bradshaw, Roman Flores, Alexander Herndon, Michael Martinez, AJ Mascot, Corey Merck, Jaron Perez, and Gail Salty, coached by Benji Schrader, the general manager over at Outlaw Paintball in Pflugerville. I believe Alex is a former player for Austin Evolution. I believe some of these players coming over from that Austin Evolution camp. So, we'll see how they do under the rebuild.
Yeah, other than Julian Banda, I don't really know much about these guys. But, again, you're coming out of Pflugerville. That's another one of those small little pockets we talked about earlier, where good teams do come out of that you might kind of miss when you're looking, at the big 3, So, good on them.
Up next, we've got LA Extreme D4 Black. You got Jala Warrens, Andrews, Joseph Ducat, Johnny. I'm not going to pronounce your last name, Johnny. I'm not even going to try, my man. You got Robert Jansen, Guy Jones, Logan Laborde, Grayson Manning coming in, Justin Mattern, Dakota Medina, and Chad Mosby. So yeah, you're going to have a lot of fans here for this team cheering them on for sure, especially with Grayson Manning on this line.
I agree. I think it's going to be the same thing. Like you said, with Grayson Manning there, you're going to get a lot of people pulling for it. LAX is a great park. I'm not sure if any of these guys played in the ICPL this past thing, but they struggled. So I'm trying to see if I can look at their thing and see, but I can't tell.
All right. Well, I do know that they have a lot of family support. They're going to have a lot of fans. So yeah, don't sleep on this team, because paintball momentum is definitely a thing, especially when you've got some people cheering up for you on the sideline.
100% paintball momentum. Somebody has one thing go wrong and the whole tide of a game can shift, because, if the best team always won, there would be no need to play the game. So that's why we play it.
For sure. All right. Final team in this bracket, you've got Outlaw Anodizing Green from Houston, coached by Cedric Rios, former Seattle Thunder player. You've got Luis Ayala, Kyle Fink, Chris Harrison, Cooper Harrison, Rodolfo Jimenez, Henry Nabel, Trenton Martin, Tyler Middleton, Caleb Owens, Dom Rivera, and John Schaff. Of course, you got Philip on staff. So a lot of youth on this team. You've got Cooper and Chris Harrison, who were, I know Chris Harrison was on PB Gateway D4 last year, who won the series. So you've got for sure some talent, definitely some young players on this team. But again, 11 players is a lot.
I don't want to manage that many people. I come from the mindset you take 7, maybe 8, depending on the age and weather conditions. Like if it's super, super hot, it's just too hard to manage that many egos. Chris Harrison was on PB Gateway. Cooper left his team, and now father and son get to play together. And Tyler Middleton, that's another good player that I look forward to watching.
Yep. Again, you've got some young talent on here, some Team USA hopefuls, so don't sleep on them. All right. So going to our final bracket before we get into our predictions for D4, you've got bracket F, which has Austin Hype, Shut Up or Trying, MBR, the Gunners, New Mexico Bandits, and OKC Mutiny. So let's pull them up here. So starting with Austin Hype, you've got Boney Alba, Joshua Bernhard, Joseph Black, Eric Gonzalez, Joseph Hernandez, Miles Jones, LaPaul McAllister, Adam Rudisil, and Justin Vasquez. So this team, they've been together, a couple of these bodies going all the way back to the ATX Kings. If you remember that name from like way back, like 2017, 2018. We're together on Austin Hypnotic. When the Hypnotic split happened, a couple of these pieces went here. So they've been together for quite a while.
Yeah, ATX Kings and Greed had a thing back in the day. It was a big rivalry. It was a good rivalry, but, Boney, great player. That's who that'd be where I'd be focusing my guns right there on the break, would be against Boney.
All right, up next, we've got Shut Up or Trying. Again, they are a staple program in Texas, have been for a long time. You've got Matthew Aarons, Tyler Ashworth, Tate Estrada, Taylor King, Jarek Lewis, Paul Mart, Andrew O'Neill, Robert Ortiz, and Zach Rosen. And with Paul there, you're going to have Chanel to deal with as well. So be careful on this one, and definitely keep your cool whenever you're playing against Shut Up or Trying.
Yeah, and Paul is probably one of the old school back middle guys, just a big gun. And that is just a hard lane to get through. And then Taylor King on the D side, Tate Estrada is going to be in the snake, and they're going to be hitting you all across the middle. I mean, it's going to be a solid push. They don't push aside. They push the whole field. And I think that Jerry's going to have these guys ready. I really do. Plus, like you said, you got to deal with Chanel and I tap.
Yeah, she is a force multiplier.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. So up next, we got MBR coming in from Edinburgh. You've got Francisco Alatorre, Brian Frazier, Brian Garza, Mari Gutierrez, Brian Longoria, Daniel Pacheco, Austin Salazar, and Francisco Silva. Don't know too much about this team. MBR, let me pull up their team. It looks like this is their second event as a team. They had one event at the second USXBL last year, didn't do too well. But other than that, I mean, this is basically a new team.
Yeah. And again, you get these new teams, they step off into the big leagues. You know, I'm trying to figure out why, if you're a new team, relatively new team, why are you playing D4 when you probably could play D5 and at least get some experience under your belt a little more? That's just, I mean, look at these guys.
Looking at the points right here, I mean, like, you've got 2 beginners, you've got someone playing their first event, you've got 2 D5 players. Yeah, I think this is, I mean, I know you've got 3 D4 players, so you have to play D4 with this group, but man, this is gonna be a different pace of play than you're used to.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, good for them. I mean, I always say, you know, iron sharpens iron. You know, you don't get better by playing people down. So, I mean, good for them. We'll see.
Definitely. All right, up next, you've got probably the bracket favorite, probably one of the tournament favorites. You've got Gunners. So you've got Antonio Fernandez, Tim McGregor, Nick McKenna, Brian Padilla, Rafael Rivera, Corey Sepulveda, Robert Shelton, and Kelson Walker. Again, you've got Jesse Stevens on staff. Yeah, this is the team. Most of the bodies that won Tampa, you've got to watch out for them.
Yeah, I can't see anybody really, unless there's some kind of implosion on the inside. The only person that's going to beat these guys, I think, is herself. The way they're going right now, they're cooking with gas. So yeah, I think they're the team.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna be one of the favorites in this event. Up next, we've got New Mexico Bandits from Albuquerque, coached by Chris Whitaker. You've got Mario Bergarello, Killian Caldwell, Matthew Kraft, Nathaniel Hughes, Elijah Ortiz, Alex Perez, Mike Ruiz, and Jason Weedell. Don't know too much about them. I know they've come in to Texas for a few events, but it looks like for this line, this is their first event as a team.
Yeah, and again, you come out of state, the first thing you want to do is you want to come out here and I want to get some of that big money. You know, I want to win some tournaments. Well, you've done the first part of it. You signed up. Now let's see if you can do it. But you're in the brackets with the Gunners, and that's going to make it really rough.
Definitely. And finally, we've got OKC Mutiny coming in from Oklahoma. You've got Gabriel Cornwall, Jonathan Gilliand, Mitchell Higgs, DJ Huguenin, Jacob Miller, Austin local, Jacob Thomas, and Zachary Wasser. So yeah, this team coming in from Oklahoma, OKC Mutiny. Let's see their history as a team. They play a lot in Kansas. They play a lot in the EXL. They tend to play pretty decently, around middle of the pack in there. But again, I think Texas ball is just a whole other game.
Yeah, the EXL, you know, Jake's place up there in Kansas is a really nice place. He runs a great thing, gets a good crowd. But, you know, like you said, it's not Texas.
It's not Texas. I think that's kind of the theme there. All right, so getting to all of our brackets. So, Robert, they take 14 teams, so top 2. Give me your top 2 in each of these brackets. If you think there's going to be a wild card out of that bracket, you can pick that as well. I think for this first bracket, I'm going to go with TKO, and I think my second pick is actually going to be Austin Notorious out of this bracket.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with TKO for sure, and then probably Austin Notorious with no wild card coming out of this bracket.
Right, for sure. I mean, just on Austin Notorious, you got the Boogeyman, you got Leslie.
Yeah,
that's tough to stop that star power.
I can't see that. I just, you know.
Up next in bracket B, you've got Cold Blooded, Countdown City 210, Austin Oni, Contra, and the GNL crew, which is another Gunners line. I think my picks, I'm going to pick the GNL crew to move on at the top. And for second seed, I think this is a bracket that's going to be really open. I'm going to give it to Austin Oni, though.
And I'm going to pick Cold Blooded and the GNL crew. I just don't think that Austin Oni, with all their new people yet, you know, I mean, I know Tokyo's a great coach, but they don't have his son. So I'm just going to say Cold Blooded and GNL crew.
All right, fair enough. I think that bracket's definitely has the most potential for chaos.
Yes.
So bracket C, you've got a 16 bracket. You've got Greed, Countdown City, Hydra Kids, Cold Blooded Pandas, Havoc, and the Meanies. Oh man, this is a doozy of a bracket. I'm gonna say Havoc for sure as the top. Give me Hydra Kids as the second, and I think I'm gonna say there will be a wild card out of this one. Gonna be between. Man, this is tough. I'm gonna say it's gonna be between Meanies and Greed as the wild card.
Yeah, it's going to be the Hydra Kids, Havoc, and Greed. The Greed Hydra Kids is one's going to go in as a wild card and one's going to go in as the number 2. I think Havoc's going to win. I think Hydra Kids will go in number 2 and Greed will go in as a wild card, but it's just not that guaranteed. I think Hydra Kids stepping up from D5 and youth. It's going to be a little different. The game's going to move a little faster, so it's a maybe. But there is a wild card out of this bracket.
Yeah, I do want to point out that even though it is a 16 bracket, there's always one team that you don't play. Havoc and the Hydra Kids do play each other.
Oh, man, I wish that game was on the main field.
Yeah. All right, up next, you got bracket D. You've got the Dragoons, Austin Assault, Integrity, Breach, LA Extreme D4, and Texas Sannon. A lot of unknowns for me personally in this one. You've got 2 Louisiana teams. I would say that for my top pick out of this one, give me Austin Assault. As far as the second seed, I'm going to say LA Extreme D4.
I'm going to pick Austin Assault as my top one, and then I'm going to pick the Dragoons. I'm going to go with the local guys, the home state favorites, and hope they pull it off. But that's who I'm picking.
Yeah, I think if a wild card does come out of this bracket, it will be the Dragoons. It's just, you've got a lot of pieces. You've got 11 players coming from 3 different teams. I don't know if they're, I think they do have the talent on that line, but I don't know if they're going to have their processes figured out this first event. But they do definitely have the talent there. And I do know there's a couple of my boys on the Titans that are guesting for them. But again, that's a lot of moving pieces. All right, so bracket E, you've got PB Gateway V2, Houston Zone Kids, Elite Dynasty, BC United, LA Extreme D4 Black, and Outlaw Anodizing Green. This is going to be a tough one. I think I'm going to pick Outlaw Anodizing Green as my top seed out of this. With my second seed, probably Zone Kids. I'll take that back. I'm going to say Outlaw and PB Gateway V2 is my top 2 with Houston Zone Kids potential wild card.
I agree with that one. That would be my pick. Outlaw, AP Green, even though they're down in the 32 slot, I think PB Gateway and the Houston Zone Kids, again, just like in the Greed bracket, I think it's Houston Zone Kids, PB Gateway could flip either way, one going, one being the wild card. It's just going to depend on who shows up.
Definitely. And then in our final D4 bracket, we've got Austin Hype, Shout Out for Trying, MBR, the Gunners, New Mexico Bandits, and OKC Mutiny. Give me the Gunners all day in this bracket as the top seed. And then as the second seed, let's go Shout Out for Trying.
Yeah, I don't see how anybody gets around this. And the fact that the Gunners are at 19 is kind of a misnomer. It's really misleading. I'm with you. Gunners all day. Shut Up or Trying all day. And if one of the other brackets that we thought a wild card comes out of, but it doesn't, it could be Austin Hype, but that also could be just hype. So.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I think the New Mexico Bandits is a team that you're going to have to respect as well.
Yeah,
but again, it's like you've got 2 teams in this bracket that are brand new to playing together.
Yeah, and to put them in with the Gunners and Shut Up is kind of just really not fair, but it is what it is.
Definitely. Let's see do the Gunners and Shut Up play each other? Yes, they do. That's a classic rivalry right there. They were back and forth all year last year in Division 5, not just in the USXBL, but also in the NXL.
Yeah, because one won, I think Shut Up won Vegas, and then Gunners won the next one, or vice versa. I don't remember exactly, but it was just, there was banging heads all year long.
Mhm.
And rivalries are good for paintball.
Definitely. All right. Now we are at the elite division. You've got 17 teams, 8 teams advanced. So top 2 plus 2 wild cards. I think this is going to be a very tough league in this elite division, which remember is a reminder. It's somewhere between D3 and D2. So yeah, let's start out with bracket A. You've got the Beefy Boys, Cap City Charge, Elite, the Texas Titans, and the Bearcats.
Man.
And starting out with the Beefy Boys, this is not the same Beefy Boys that we had last year. This is an entirely new line. I do want to say that going in. So you coached by Bobby Kramer. You've got AJ Abar, Daniel Diaz-Quirolo coming in from Helotus Fusion's D5 team. You got Cameron Peterson, Henry Portillo, Joe Solomon, Patrick Simons, Luke Webb, Will Weems, and Zach Turtle Wilkes. So a couple of shut up or trying players. You've got Will, who plays everywhere. You've got Daniel a stud from Helotus Fusion's team. You've got Henry Portillo. So you've got a definitely solid group of players. How quickly are they going to make it happen as a unit?
Well, for me, this is a very challenging one because it is a new group and they come from all different styles. I mean, Daniel from Helotes Fusion, AJ is coming back to paintball from Shaked and Bake, Cameron, who was with the Beefy Boys line last year. Henry's coming over from Elite Audio and Video. Joe plays everywhere. Patrick is coming over from Shut Up. Will's a utility player all over the place. Zach's a utility player all over the place. The question's going to be for them. Can they all pull the same direction?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I know they got Luke and Thorne and everybody's going to be in the pits. They're going to have the D2 guys that won last year doing it. But it's going to be, this is the make or break right now. Is the Beefy Boy camp all rowing in the same direction, or is it going to take another event? We'll see.
That's the big question right there. And real quick, because I realize I kind of still learning my processes here. So the D4 predictions brought to us by Paintball Kumite, which is Colt Roberts' training regimen. The elite brackets are brought to us by Jared Sherman and his website, texanhemp.com. So moving on to Cap City Charge. They won the championship event in D4XBL. They're making the jump up to D3, coached by Nick Pashek, who they brought on for the championship event, and they won. So they've got something figured out with him. You've got Donovan Chapa, Adam Dipple, Joe Enzo, David Helgeson, River Lacey, Clifford Largent, and Morgan Mills. I did read that Enzo suffered an injury in practice recently, so I don't know if he'll actually be playing, which would leave them with 6. But again, this is a team that's been together since, most of these guys since the ATX Kings, since Austin Hypnotic. So,
yeah, but they did really well in D4, but that's D4. This is elite. And when you talk about Grit, Titans, Beefy Boys, the Mafia, I think at least going to take them at least 1, probably 2 tournaments before they're leveled up. Can they win? Yeah, they're together. They're good. But will they?
We'll see. I mean, I think this division doesn't have any slouch teams by any means.
Yeah, I know. When the weakest team is a really good team, you're in trouble.
Definitely. Up next, we've got Team Elite out of Lubbock, coached by Chris Vandervald. You've got Lawson Benedict coming over from, I know he played with Jackpot for most of last year. I believe he ended the season with Houston Zone. You've got Doug Bryant, Kyle Coulter, Charles Dean, Cal Leach coming back into the fray. You've got Nick Myers, Benji Schrader, and Brian Sylvia from Austin Notorious. So you've got an already solid team with many years of experience, and you're adding some big pieces.
Yeah, Lawson Bennett coming over is going to be huge for them. Charles Dean works that middle like not many people. Nick Myers, again, Brian Silva, and then Doug Bryant. I mean, he just consistently shows up. I look for big things from these guys, and this is what makes this whole division so crazy. it's what it's going to do. This division is going to make a bunch of pundits like us look real stupid, because we're going to get a lot of it wrong.
For sure. And you've got Cal Leach, who's a staple on the KC Missouri All-Stars, Lubbock local. You've got, Brian Sylvia, who's a massive gun off the break. Lawson, who is, if you don't shoot him off the break, he's going to be in the 50. So this is a scary team. So up next, you've got my team, the Texas Titans, coming in from X Factor. You've got Ryan Connors, Josh DeLeon, Brandon Gallegos, Leo Lamas, Lane Myers. We picked up Matthew Pelto for this one. You've got myself and you've got Dylan Strickland. So this team, we finished 6th place in Division II X-Ball in Tampa. Because of the way the points work, you can have anybody, an unlimited number of players, 1,200 and under, and I think we're all at 1185 or something like that. So, we're coming in with basically a full D2 line. You've got Matthew Pelto, who's a D1 player. There's just so much experience on this team, and we're in our 5th year of playing together.
Yeah, I looked at the roster and everybody was 1180, 1180, 1180, 1180. And all that tells me is y'all all played the same events at the same time together, and then you look over at Pelto and he's like at 2,400 or something like that. It's crazy. So welcome to Texas paintball, everybody else. I mean,
Yep. Yes, sir. Yeah. So finally we've got the Beer Cats coming in from Slidell. Hunter Dean, Charles Dowden, Justin Hodges, who's a rookie pro player for the New Orleans Hurricanes. You've got his dad, Matt Hodges. You've got Connor Hodges, Nathaniel Newton, Jacob Plaisance, and Jacob Riley. So, you've got an absolute stud in Justin Hodges. The rest of the team also pretty solid. I think Justin is going to be the player that the team looks to in order to really lead them with his, newfound experience with the Hurricanes. But we'll see if the rest of the roster is going to be up to the challenge.
Yeah, Justin played with Greed in Bunkerfest series, and he played well. He's obviously grown since then. He made the Hurricanes. Is he going to be enough of a solo player to come up and play against the Titans, play against that whole D2 line and be that big a difference maker? It's going to be tough. I mean, it's really going to be tough. I hope some of the guys around him can come up. Hunter Dean will come around. And so, I just don't know if one player, when you're coming up against such good lines, can make that big a difference. But we'll see.
For sure. All right. So that does it for bracket A. We're going to move on to bracket B here. And again, we're going to give our predictions here for all of the brackets at the end. We've got a 6-team bracket here. You've got Houston Zone, Balls Out, Outlaw Anodizing Sharks, Evil, SK Elite, and TXL Fusion. So starting off with Houston Zone, you've coached by Jacob Seabaugh, who is, stud player, stepped up huge for Paintball Fit in Tampa when Colt went down. You've got Chris Cormier, Aaron Freeman, Rob G, Adam Hitchcock, Taylor Kurtz, Colton McCoon, Todd Morrow, Zachary Peterson, and Tony Tabato. This team's got a lot of experience playing together. They've been pretty close. I don't think they quite got it done last year with obviously Jackpot taking the first 2 and Beefy Boys taking the last 2, but they were in contention for several podiums.
Yeah, and they're one of my this was one of my early of the year picks to at least win an event. And probably it can be contention for the series just because they have the same consistent roster. They play together forever. They're always in the mix. They're always really good at all things across the board. Break shooting, taking ground, paintball IQ. They're just one of those teams that's just – they're not necessarily a 10 in any one area, but they're good 7s and 8s and 9s across the board. So, yeah, and with Jacob Seabaugh, I don't know how much he's going to help them because I don't know how long he's been with them. Then that's on me for not investigating a little more. But I got these guys. I think they're going to do well.
Yeah, I will also point out that this Houston Zone team did play Tampa. They went 2-2 in Division II. didn't make it out of prelims, but they finished right dead which was stacked Tampa. All right, so moving on to Balls Out, which is a team from the Valley. You've got a very light line going into this one. Hector Andrade, Eric Contreras, Steven Enslow, Ian Galvan, Victor Juarez, and Devin Lopez. So you've got Devin, who's been playing with the Texas Demolition semi-pro line. Vic, who played with them last year. Ian, who's been on and off with them, played with the Austin Notorious D2, D1. So you've got some players that have that upper level experience playing in D3. This is a light line, but when you've got 3 players with that D2, D1 experience, you probably don't want them leaving the field anyway.
Yeah, and this is one of the 2 teams in this particular elite division that for some reason doesn't get a lot of outside respect. They kind of get thought like an afterthought. And I think that's a mistake. I know they're one of your favorite teams, to talk about. You're always a proponent for them, and I agree. I think this is a team you definitely do not want to overlook, because if you do, you're going to be wearing it 100%.
For sure. Yeah, I think just because they're in the Valley and you don't see too much about them throughout the off season online, they don't post too much, but they definitely show up at the events. So moving ahead, we've got the Outlaw Anodizing Sharks from Houston, coached by Scott Perkins. You've got Michael Beecham, Cade Blackwelder, Mark Chevalier, David Cuervo, Duran Martinez, Miles Mascariello, David Ratchford, Joseph Scalia, Jeremy Sturm, and Zach Williams. So very solid line here with the Sharks. I don't believe they played Tampa, but this team finished 2nd out of 54 at World Cup in D4 5-man. They were finishing, they had a USXBL win in D4 last year. At the second event, they finished 4th at X Factor. So solid line from D4 heading up into D3.
Yeah, and they picked up David Cuervo from the Cold-Blooded. And again, he plays snake side, sometimes a 1, sometimes a 2. Every now and then he'll play in the middle. Plays for Texas A&M, so he's a real good prospect, a real good pickup. He just needs a little help around him and someone to talk to him, because he's a little bit green on putting it together by himself. But man, you get a good 2 behind him, that's a guy to watch out for.
For sure. Up next, we've got, I think this is the team to watch out for in this bracket. As tough as the 16 bracket is, I think this is the team to watch out for. And this is Evil, Elite Audio, Video, and Lighting. You've got a couple of old names on here. You've got David Bible, Charlie Christie, Justin Doman, Gerald Garcia, Rory McQuality, Gabian Mundo, Nick Shows, Tyler Spees, Luke Staley, and Jeremy Zimmerman. You've got multiple former AC players, both AC Dallas and AC Diesel. You've got Gerald Garcia. You've got a couple of players who probably, if you look on their PB Leagues profile, they got some black events because they played pro. Man, this is going to be the team, older players, but man, you've got some experience. You've got some talent.
This right here is, if you'd have told me, 15 years ago or so that I'd be sitting here calling a Gerald Garcia match, and he's going to be out here playing, I'd have thought you're crazy. Gerald is a close personal friend of mine, and ever since he left the game 2 or 3 times a year, I'd message him, "Hey, you ready to come back?" He'd tell me to kick rocks. He's paintball stupid. And then last year, he sends me this message. He says, "Hey, on the low, I'm back." So I'm super excited. Then you got David Bible that came out of the Felix things, Rory McCrory, Nick Shows, again, another one. Who would have thought I'd get to call a Nick Shows game? And then you got Jay-Z, AC guy, Bad Kitty history. And then the new up-and-comer, one of my shows last year, they're like, top 5 guys to watch. Luke Staley was one of the guys I picked to watch, and he's a monster. So this is a team you want to watch.
Definitely, yeah. Luke Staley being a stud for PB Gateway, played for Team USA U19, played pro in the ICPL. Even though he's young, man, he's got so much experience already playing at the top level.
Yeah,
he was the D4 Player of the Year in the Pits Awards. Definitely, the kid is gonna go places.
and I know for a fact that Mark Johnson has taken him kind of under his wing to mentor him. He is watching him, I guess is the best way to say it. You know, he's putting some time and effort into Luke because he's already called dibs on him. It would not surprise me before too long if you did not see Luke Staley wearing an AC Diesel jersey.
For sure. JC in the chat from Uno's Turkey says Devin not going to play. He's not on the roster. So I don't know if he's going to be a last minute ad or what, but he's not there as of right now. So moving on, we've got SK Elite coming in from Salina, Kansas. You've got Braxton Blake, Nick Ruth Chin, Blake Clarkson, Jake Dixon, Phoenix Mourner, Thomas Fan, Kevin Scruggs, Philip Vergara, and Tristan Young. I don't know too much about this team, and looking at some of the other teams in this bracket, man, they drew a tough one.
Yeah, this is you don't want to come. I mean, I think these guys come down from, I think it's Jake Dixon. I think it's his son right there. I'm not 100% sure, but they come down from Jake's place up there. They're up there rocking and rolling in that league. But when you stepped off into this one, you got a bad bracket. You really did.
Mitch Diesel, is the roster still open? I believe the roster's locked as of Tuesday, but you can pay for an on-site registration. You have to pay a fee for it, but you can technically still get added. So yeah, looking at TXL Fusion coming in from Louisiana. So many teams coming in from out of state. You've got John Bamberg, Eric Bruns, Mitchell Dewyer, Juan Galaviz, Patrick Garcia, Isaiah Moore, Rustin Treadway, and Kenneth Wilcox, again, coming in from Louisiana. Don't know too much about this team. Looking at their roster page, they are full of D4 and D5 players playing in the elite division. I would say that this is going to be a struggle for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle. And I do know Jason Bamberg. He's a local boy. He plays wherever right now. He was out of the game for a while. He's making a comeback, had to get his life together and stuff. But this one, I think it's going to be, welcome to paintball.
Yeah, for sure. So looking at the final bracket in the elite division, bracket C, you've got the TKO Super Gremlins, the Donut Shop Mafia, Grit, Brickdown Bucks, BDC, and the Gulf Coast Ragtag Army. So starting with the TKO Super Gremlins, coached by Colt Lukow, you've got Alex Augusto, Jace Boyd, Mark Brown, Milton Rivera, Leaks Sawala, Omar Simmons, Jill Stewart, Peter Stokes, and Ernesto Vasquez. I know Ernesto played for Jackpot last year, currently playing for Shut Up or Trying Semi-Pro. Other than that, this TKO Super Gremlins, they've been together for a little while. I think they've yet to figure it out in D3. They were a very solid team in D4, won a couple of events. But yeah, this is a stacked D3 elite division.
Yeah, it is. And TKO Super Gremlins did really well in the championships last year. Came within a hair's breadth of winning, but almost is a lot of things, right? Jace Boyd, absolute, just a stud, right? Needs some help around him. Omar Simmons, great snake player. Honestly, Omar is one of my favorite people just to watch on a one-to-one basis to play the snake. His IQ is pretty up there. Now with Ernesto coming from Jackpot, which also came out of the Greed Beefy Boy thing and stuff, I think it's going to be really good to watch him play with them. So then you throw in, Colt Lukow. That right there is a man who can break the field down real quick. As you saw in Tampa, when his leg went out, he took over as like motivational coach, and he does not suffer excuses. So let's go. And this is another I think that doesn't get the other. This is like balls out. I think this team gets slept on and doesn't get a little respect.
Yeah, and fair enough. Like looking at the results last year, they didn't play every event, but they got a second and a third in the 2 of the 3 that they played. So this is definitely a team that knows what they're doing in this division. So, I misspoke there. Definitely watch out for them. But moving ahead to the Donut Shop Mafia, coming in from El Paso, you've got Abraham Apodaca, Fernando Davenport Ramirez, Tony Diaz, Jacob Ortega, Jacob Romero, Daniel Schobner, and Justin Sepulveda. This is a team that has, they played tried to play a pretty controlled game to mixed success. Last year, they did take a third at the second event, but other than that, failed to make it out of prelims. But solid team. I think they're going to have to look to find a new gear in their play style in order to succeed.
Absolutely. They're going to have to find another. Again, they do play control ball. And the thing is, a lot of times the clock kicked them in the nuts. So that being said, I think they have the coolest jerseys in paintball. I've been trying to swipe one for years, but I have a feeling that this year they're going to find that next gear. I think you will see Sunday appearances from them. We'll see if they're there yet, though.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, up next, I think this is going to be one of the top teams in this bracket, if not the top team. You've got Grit. You've got Anthony Bosmans, Pierce Colmio, Kevin Doherty, Nick Gomez, Aaron Hitchcock, Dallas Luke, Brandon Peters, Michael Taylor Risenmay, and Ryan Wynn, with Anthony Bowles on their staff. So this team, many of the same pieces that won the Division II Lone Star Open, and I believe either got first or second in the D2 series way back in 2018 or 2019. And picking up some key pieces in Anthony Bosmans and Nick Gomez from the Dragoons. They also picked up Aaron Hitchcock, and they picked up Ryan Wynn. So a couple of new additions to really round out their squad.
Yeah, when they came back at San Antonio last year, they were winded, they were exhausted, they were tired, came in second, and you could look and see their face that they were back. They're in for the grind. They're in for the long haul. So I think it's going to be one of the teams to beat for sure.
Yeah. All right, up next, you've got the Bricktown Bucks from Oklahoma City. You've got Chris Davis, Derek Fine, Tyler Hitt, Adam Jester, Ryan Powers, Landon Roney, Dennis Stevenson, Aaron White. So this is a team that has been in and out of the division for a little bit. I don't think ever finding too much success. I mean, they didn't do well. Really, their best finish was a middle of the pack last year in the elite division. So yeah, are they going to be able to find that cure during the offseason? I don't know what their practice competition looks like up in Oklahoma City, but we'll see.
I think that's one of the biggest problems they suffer is the fact is they don't have quality opponents to really sharpen their skills with. I mean, I am a super big fan. I love their field owner, their team owner, John Hubbard, formerly of Texas Storm. I mean, you'll hear me walking around the thing, can I get a Bricktown? Because, but now they brought in Scott Stewart. John Hubbard's going to be down here. We'll see. I think stepping up, into this bracket with Grit, Titans, Beef. I mean, it's going to be a long road for them. I think right now they're just looking for a Sunday appearance first, but they do not. I mean, they're still here, so let's give them credit.
Yeah, I think picking up Scott Stewart is definitely going to help them.
Oh, Dirty Stu? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look up next, we got some of your friends over here on BDC, coached by Trenton Mason. You've got Jared. I don't know how to say his last name. I've seen him a couple of times. How do you pronounce it, Robert?
I'd call him Jared.
Okay, there you go. Fair enough. All right, you got Jared. You got Chaden Hoffpair, Luca Iwama, Matthew Jenkins. Okay. You've got Alec Pizzoni, Brandon Powell, Matt Pringle, and Colin Stewart. Alec Pizzoni, I believe, coming over from the Beefy Boys. Got Colin Stewart coming in from I'm not sure if he was on TKO Super Gremlins or exactly who he was with last year. But yeah, this BDC team, you've got a couple of new pieces on here with some experience. Will it be enough to overcome Grit or TKO Super Gremlins? I don't know. We'll see.
Well, this is going to be the struggle for them. BDC does real well at the XTPL when they can have a pro, and they always have Trent. And that's the piece that locks them in, and they play great. They do really, really well. When they come play the USXBL or something and Trent's their coach and he's not on the field, that's where they take a couple steps back. Now, that's not saying that they can't win. It's just I don't know if they found that one piece yet to take his place. Alex coming over from them, Brandon playing the middle, absolutely good. Colin came over from TKO Super Gremlins and Tribe. So, yeah, this is – I play 10-man with Jared and a couple of the other guys. So, yeah, they're really good, but I don't think with Grit and the Titans and a couple of those other teams, it's just going to be because they're not taking no wild cards, so it's going to be rough.
For sure. Okay, and then in this final bracket, we've got the Gulf Coast Ragtag Army coming in from Florida. You've got they picked up Cyrus to coach them, so I guess Cyrus being from Florida might have some familiarity with them. You've got Michael Buchanan, James Capers, Nathaniel Combs, Hudson Dunphy, Kyle Enriquez, Jet Isidro, Justin Carney, Alex Rodriguez, Emmanuel Rodriguez, and Jonathan Turner. So I think a couple of these players from the Dynamic camp coming in. Dynamic winning the D3 series in the NXL last year. You've got Hudson joining them. You've got Cyrus coaching them, but we'll see how they fare against a whole bunch of Texas teams.
Yeah, and again, when you start taking all these outside pieces and you throw them all in a pot and you throw in an outside coach that don't really know you and throw it against the wall and hope it sticks, and then you come against, again, I hate to keep beating the same drum, but Grit, the Titans, the Beefy, the Shop, Mafia, I just don't know if that's a recipe that will work. But as the person who's going to be up in that booth calling the game, I am 100% looking forward to calling games from teams from out of state, because the more we get from out of state, the more people will recognize that what they say is true. Texas is the mecca of paintball.
Yeah, and to their credit, they did get a 4th out of 35 in D3X ball in Tampa. So, yeah, they are going to be competitive coming in. So, yeah, we'll see how they fare against Texas teams.
Yeah, well, they got everybody that plays in the elite bracket better be ready, because I'm going to have in the booth with me the most critical person in paintball. Chris Lasoya is going to be up there calling matches with me. And for some of these young people, they might not be as well versed of knowing who Chris Lasoya is, but I don't think I'd want to be on video having my stuff criticized by Chris Lasoya.
Definitely. Yeah. I know we forgot to mention that earlier with as far as like the logistics and stuff going into this event, but Chris Lasoya being in the booth with you, man. Yeah. I hope you have a blast up there.
I'm going to have a blast. We're bringing in a different legend every event. They're not telling me until the last minute. They only told me this time because it was by accident. And so they announced it on my show, but I'm excited. I've known Chris for a while, but I've never got to work with him. So this is going to be interesting for me.
Definitely. One other thing I do want to bring up before we get to our picks for this elite division is that new for this event, all 3 fields are going to be live streamed,
yes,
which is going to be huge. And I believe correct me if I'm wrong, but will there be a commentator on all 3 fields?
That is the plan. If everybody shows up as planned, it's paintball, but yes. Live streaming, we've upgraded all the cameras. The best way I can describe it is if you watch a football game, the camera angle or view or whatever is this DPI, and we have been in this size in the past, and now we're 3/4. So we should be easier to watch, not so much far away, it just better everything. We bought new cameras, we bought new control boards, new headsets. I mean, Mike's went and spent a bunch of money, so we'll see how it all turns out.
All right. I love to see it. Okay. So getting into our predictions. So the 8 teams, top 2 per bracket plus 2 wild cards. I don't think they're going to take a wild card out of bracket A with it only being 5 teams. But yeah, with me being a competitor in this bracket, I'm just gonna hear Robert's picks on this one because I don't want the juju.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing, because we both have an investment in this bracket. I mean, Beefy Boys is a team I started, a decade or so, over a decade ago. I'm no longer involved with it, but it is kids that I brought up, so I kind of want to, in deference, not pick them. So I will say that 100% Texas Titans will be, and then I will say that the Beefy Boys will be number 2, even though Elite could be the one that knocks us out. I don't really feel like Cap City or Beer Cats will be there, but so Texas Titans going in 1, Beefy Boys going in 2.
All right, fair enough. I'm gonna say that I do believe that I'm gonna pick one team out of this. So excluding the Titans out of this, I'm gonna pick one team, and I'm gonna say that my pick to come out of this bracket will be Elite.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I think that one of the questions is, can these teams control Justin Hodges on the Beer Cats, or are they going to drop games because of it?
Yeah, do you focus only on him, or do you focus on the game? I don't know.
So bracket B, you've got Houston Zone, Balls Out, Outlaw Anodizing Sharks, Elite Audio Video Lighting, SK Elite, and TXL Fusion. So give me your top 3 out of this one.
Oh, video lighting for sure. And boy, then it gets man, this is where it gets really crazy, because I just got through saying that everybody sleeps on Balls Out, so I don't want to sleep on them, but God dang, man. I'm gonna say Elite Audio Video Lighting, the Outlaw Sharks with Balls Out going in on a wild card.
I think definitely. Ooh, so Zone's not making it out then.
I know, and that's God, yeah. Again, as I said earlier, this is the division that's going to make us look stupid. So
yeah, I think SK Elite and TXL Fusion, unfortunately, are going to be fighting for the bottom on this one. Like it's a rough bracket that they drew. I hope they learn a lot out of this one, but I don't see either of those teams getting ahead of most of the rest of the teams in this bracket. I'm going to say Elite Audio, Video, and Lighting is going to be out of here. I'm going to say Zone makes it out of prelims. The question is unfortunately, with how the brackets work with the 6 teams, team 1 does not play team 6. So his Zone not playing TXL Fusion could come back to hurt them, having the harder teams in their bracket. Evil and the Outlaw AP Sharks don't play each other. So both of them getting, both SK Elite and TXL Fusion in their rotation, I think is going to help them significantly as far as point spread and game spread goes.
Yep.
So I will say Evil and Outlaw Sharks make it, and I'm going to pick Zone as the 3rd seed.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It just the way that it works with the 16 brackets. 1 does not play 6, 2 does not play 5, and 3 does not play 4. So yeah, I think that is going to come into play here. So going to bracket C. We've got the TKO Super Gremlins, the Donut Shop Mafia, Grit, Bricktown Bucks, BDC, and Gulf Coast Ragtag Army. Give me Grit. Give me TKO Super Gremlins. Give me the Gulf Coast Ragtag Army here.
Give me Grit going in first. TKO Super Gremlins going in second. And I want to sentimental pick the Bucks, but I can't. So I'm going to pick the Donut Shop Mafia because I just don't know enough about Gulf Coast. Again, you're more versed on them than I am. And again, I have so many friends in this, the Bucks, the BDC guys, but I think it's Grit, Super Gremlins, and then TDSM with the wild card.
Yeah, we'll see if TDSM, again, they like to play controlled game. But the layouts that we're seeing more and more, you cannot succeed with only playing like that traditional AC Dallas style. So if they've got that extra gear in them, then we'll see them do well because they are solid fundamentally, but it's going to come down to their game plan.
Yeah, and the layout is not I don't think the layout's going to play very well to a control team. I don't. I think it's going to reward aggression.
All right. So yeah, I think that does it for our predictions, which were brought to us by 71 Designs. So we're kind of getting to the end of our show here. We do have some D6 teams that I do want to just go over their names real quick. We're not going to go through their rosters or anything like that. But we've got Aggression PB, Centex, Intensity. Oh man, these teams with the letters and the numbers and the cutting out the vowels and all that, man. You got Cerberus Paintball, Chicken in the Coop, Get Ducked, Get Shanked, the GTX Gunners, Houston Meanies, LA Extreme, PB Gateway Goonies, Riv Squids, Shut Up or Trying Hydra, Texas A&M University Aggies, Texas Misfits A, Texas Misfits B, Texecutioners by PB Gateway, Vibe Check, and West Texas Chaos. Man, I hope you all on Sunday just have a lot of fun. USXBL is an awesome league to be playing in. You're going to have all of your games on the webcast on your field. So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these teams, I look for Chicken in the Coop. I actually know these guys. They practice pretty good. PB Gateway, the Goonies, Wade Martin's kind of in that thing. The Aggies, back in the day, I used to coach the Aggies to a collegiate championship. So those are the teams I'm looking to see do really well.
For sure. All right. So Robert, that just about does it for our show. Now this question that I'm about to ask you is one that I ask everybody that comes on the show. For any of my longtime listeners, helps us kind of keep tabs on anybody flying under the radar or, can otherwise use a shout out. So this one brought to us by Get That Shot. Is there anybody in Texas? It could be a player, a team, a brand, a community member that you believe deserves more recognition for what they're doing?
Honestly, yeah. Dirty by Design. It's a brand, but it's also a couple of guys, Mike Staley, Jimmy Bearden. First off, they give the awards for the most valuable player. They just donate it. Jimmy flies all over the country to be pit help on his own dime for the Beefy Boys, sponsors that team. He's at the ICPL. He's got several teams there. Dirty by Design sponsors several teams. They're at every event. They're at every tournament. I mean, he's always trying to bring new people to the game. So Jimmy Bearden, Mike Staley, Dirty by Design is with no support whatsoever from any big company behind them. I think they're doing it right and growing it organically and at the grassroots level.
Excellent. All right, Dirty by Design. Shout out to you. So that is going to do it for our show. This final one is brought to us by our newest sponsor of the show, Splat Zone. Again, go sign up for their 3v3 series that they're going to be starting up here pretty soon on PB Leagues. It is under, let me find it real quick. It's the APC Splat Zone Trinity 3-man paintball series. I'm also going to be reffing as the ultimate ref, bring my whole ref crew over to go help them out. So yeah, go sign up, go play 3-man. It's a great experience, and they have an indoor field. So another reason to go do it. So yeah, this one's brought to us by Splat Zone. Robert, thank you so much for your time. I'll see you this weekend. Do you have any last shout outs or things you'd like to say before we sign off?
I just want to shout out to all the small companies besides Dirty, like Welts, all the people that watch my show, everybody out here. I want you to watch In the Pits, watch more paintball stuff. The more we get the word out, the more people we get to come, the better the game gets. So, thank you, Christian, for doing this. Congratulations on getting picked up by Major League Paintball. I think this is a bigger thing than most people know, and I'm happy for you, my friend.
Appreciate you, Robert. All right, y'all, that does it for our show. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in to this first show on the Major League Paintball channel. Be sure to go follow the USXBL at USXBL on Instagram. Also, catch Robert Jordan every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock Central on his Facebook page. What other guests would you like to see on the show? Be sure to leave a comment down below. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button. The show goes live weekly here on the Major League Paintball channel on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Central. and recordings will be posted to Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify the next day. I want to give a quick shout out to my partner and sponsor tier subscribers, which you've been seen cycling through here at the bottom of your screen. You've got Get That Shot, Paintball Kumite, BEM Wraps, Hydra, XTPL Events, Mariachi Águilas de Oro, San Antonio 3v3 Series, 71 Designs, TexanHemp.com, QBRofficial.com, and our newest sponsor, Splat Zone. So we will see you guys next week for episode 138, where we're probably going to have one of the MVPs for this weekend's tournament. We'll see you then. See you at Paintball Fit starting Friday to walk the fields and Saturday morning for games. Robert, thank you so much.
Thank you.